Now, is this man on the move?
Given away by Sunderland. Gordon's in the penalty area now! Newcastle lead!
Okay, he is indeed. After 3.5 years, Anthony Gordon is leaving Newcastle. We understand a £70 million deal has been agreed with Barcelona. So there were obviously some rumours that he was linked to Bayern Munich as well. And I know that Newcastle fans, a lot of them haven't been very happy with Gordon for especially the last part of the season.
Why would that be? Just his form?
Just a little bit. I'll tell you what it is, and I'm not sure how much I agree with it, but looking like he isn't given 100% to Newcastle anymore, and perhaps his mind was on a move. And look, the move is there now. Ali, is this a good move for him? Are you surprised?
I'm a little surprised, yeah. I'm a little surprised as well at the talk of Bayern Munich, because I think if Bayern Munich, or indeed Barcelona, have got a big game tomorrow, I don't think he starts, right? I looked at the move to. I'm looking at the wide players that Blinken Munich have had. Elise and all these boys. Gnabry, however you want to play. There's just lots of them, and it's the same to a certain degree. I think at Barca, you've got Rafinha, Yamal when he's fit. What's the big question mark's going to happen with Rashford as well? Because I think there's a. I wrote it down. There's a deal, a £26 million deal on the table, but I think that deadline for that is June the 15th. So would the Anthony Gordon one affect Marcus Rashford? You'd probably think it would.
Do you think have both of them?
Yeah, well, that's a possibility as well. From Anthony Gordon's point of view, I think, it's a brilliant move if you say, right, I'm going here and I'm going to attempt to force my way into the team. You'd certainly be part of the squad, of course, and it's a club like Barcelona. It's with great respect to Newcastle, the vast majority of teams in the top flight in England. You need to be mad to not certainly consider that move to Barca. So from his point of view, I think it's a no-brainer. Whether he would start or whether he would force his way into the starting lineup in a vitally important game, not so sure.
That's what interests me, because players that are going from teams, and he didn't start every game at Newcastle either, but more often than not, players that are going from places in the Premier League to abroad to Barcelona where they might not start every game. I did wonder necessarily what the appeal was, but you're right, it's Barcelona. It's Barcelona who's going to be playing with incredible players alongside him. Lewandowski is off as well.
See, I don't think that's the thing. If your next question to me would be, could he play there as a 9?
Yeah.
I would have to answer that question occasionally.
Yeah.
I do not see him as an out-and-out number 9. Certainly not a replacement for somebody like Lewandowski.
I saw an interview as well that Jordi Cruyff did with Gary Neville, and he was saying, in terms of the other way around, so why Barcelona would be interested in Premier League players, Anthony Gordon especially, is it's the resale value if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So it's a safe investment when you're getting a Premier League player.
That. I get it totally. If they're going to the money they're talking about, again, maybe it's just me losing track. I think it sounds a wee bit over the top, 70 million and all that kind of stuff. But the fact of the matter is, if it didn't work out, you could totally see another Premier League club coming in with 50 or 60 million to get him back. Do you know what I mean? So I get that side of the business. I understand it totally. From his point of view, the move would be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And listening to, as you say, listening to a lot, if not the majority, certainly a lot of Newcastle supporters, I don't think they would be too disappointed with that deal if they got that amount of money.
They got a lot of money for him, for a player that is slightly going out of favour with some of the Newcastle fans. I imagine they're looking at that money and going, wow, that's the kind of money that...
100%.
Newcastle are desperate to get some more players in.
Well, they need it.
Darren Bent was discussing this on Drive yesterday as well, and he said he's not convinced that Anthony Gordon is actually worth that price tag. Have a listen.
I can't see it. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it.
What don't you get, Barcelona or the fee, or both?
Both. Like, you look... No, not even both. All three. Gordon getting the opportunity to go there, Barcelona wanting him, and the 70 million. And I read the other day that they're reluctant to pay the 23 for Rashford.
26, yeah, that's nuts.
I honestly
don't get that either.
The only thing I can think of is they have seen something, and you know what some of these clubs are like. Until a player makes that move, then we all go, it makes sense now. Maybe that might happen, but this season, he's got 6 Premier League goals this year.
Interesting. What do you think about that?
Listen, I agree with Bentley. I really do. I don't see I mean, he could be proven totally wrong, but I don't see Anthony Gordon as an Barcelona type player, to be honest. Very quick, good, great in behind, but I just think with a team like Barcelona, you have to break defences down more than you're going to have to be in the counter attack. I think Anthony Gordon's far better in the counter attack, using his pace. I'm not saying he can't play against tight defences, but I'm not sure that would be his forte. And as I mentioned earlier, he's certainly not an out-and-out number 9. And I agree with Benny, the move has surprised me. You know, where I maybe disagree, I don't think Anthony Gordon's decision to go to Barcelona would surprise me, because you would jump at that. But Barcelona have been interested in him, and the fee would definitely surprise me.
Can I also just say, Newcastle's actually quite a nice place to live. I know what you're all thinking.
Yeah.
Newcastle, Barcelona, is there really a choice in it? And no, there's not. You're right. It'd go straight to Barcelona.
Newcastle's
a
nice
lovely place to live.
But it ain't Barcelona.
No, it's not. Although the other day, sat in my garden with a little paddling pool out, it did feel like Barcelona.
Couldn't be further from your mind.
It was like 30 degrees. I was dying. I was absolutely dying.
I'll throw another one at you while I've got you on.
Go on. Oh.
See, if I was your team,
Yeah.
I'd go and get Rashford.
Oh, would you?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I'd go and get Rashford, play him on that left-hand side.
See, I'm fascinated about what Arsenal do in this window. We've made this Arsenal. You've made this Arsenal. Look, producer's not happy about
Well,
that.
no, but I would.
Yeah.
I really would. I mean, clearly that Arsenal say they're going to strengthen. Where do they need to strengthen? Possibly. I think there's been massive improvement in the centre forward. I really do.
Yeah.
Throughout the season, which I've been delighted to see.
But I still would strengthen them.
Yeah. I would certainly strengthen there, and probably on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
You've got Saka and Madueke in the right, alike, right? But on the left-hand side, well, I'll ask you as an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
Could you see Rashford out there? Would you like to see Rashford out there?
I would love to see Rashford there.
That's my point.
Yeah.
And if you can get him for that
for that amount of money, what was it, 26 or something like that?
Yeah.
I don't understand the difference there in price tag. Marcus Rashford at Barcelona seemed to really work and looked like it was getting the best out of him again. He just looked happy again to be playing football, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, you're right. I'd kind of like to see him back in the Premier League as well.
So would I.
If I'm honest.
Like, he's done well. It's been good for him.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. What about Newcastle's reinvestment of that money? Because that is a lot of money that they need to put back in the squad. I almost feel like with Newcastle, their best business this summer will be the ones that they manage to keep hold of.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Guimaraes, you're interested to see what happens with Tonali, boys like that. And to be honest with you, some of the signings haven't hit the ground running. Voltamada, Visa, Alanga, certainly. So their track record of recruitment has to improve. It really, really has to improve. You can always get away, Laura, with, as all coaches and teams and managers will do, you'll not get everything right in terms of recruitment, but you can't afford to get too many wrong.
Yeah.
And they haven't hit the ground running. So, but you're right, in terms of keeping players, got to keep Guimaraes, Tonali, boys like that.
They're almost like, within the league, they're almost yo-yoing, aren't they, every season with European football,
That's
without
exactly
European
right.
football.
That's exactly right. And that's why I honestly think they'll have a good season again next year.
Yeah.
I know, it's crazy.
You're right.
Because I think they'll invest, I think they'll strengthen again, and I don't think, it's not the correct word, burden of European football is not the right word, but you know what I mean. And well, it can be a burden if it affects your league position, and it certainly has with Newcastle.
There's something about the word burden in a Scottish accent.
Burden. There's been a murder at Burden.
By a purple. What's the one you can't say? Burglar alarm. Burglar alarm.
Purple burglar alarm.
Tricky, isn't it? Very tricky. Another man who's looked to relocate this summer is Andy Robertson, who's coming on the Breakfast Show.
Brilliant, Andy.
Later on. Now, we understand he's agreed personal terms with Spurs. He'll be on at 8:30, by the way. Make sure you guys listen to that one. One of our favourite players, always has been. Love Andy Robertson. And wherever he goes, only wish him the best, to be honest, Ali.
100%. And I'm a bias, probably. He should have played a lot more at Liverpool this year.
What is that?
I don't know. I mean, particularly early in the season, I think with Kerkez and Frimpong, both fullbacks were kind of struggling to find their way a little bit. Andy Robertson should have played more for Liverpool. He correctly got a brilliant send-off, looked pretty emotional, and I'm just really looking forward to talking to him about his career, his future, and the World Cup.